Coaches that are doing the work from the heart, that care so much about what they do, often aren't also good at getting their message out and enrolling clients. And they definitely don't want to do anything that feels icky or salesy or pushy. So I help them create hell yes offers and put out messaging that attracts people that they're excited to serve, so that they are feeling excited when they're telling their friends and family, not just about the impact of their work, but also the revenue.
Hi, and welcome to Delusional. I'm your host, Michelle Coyle. I am here with my friend Robb Gilbear. Robb, please introduce yourself.
My name is Robb Gilbear. I'm a high school dropout who went from being in debt and almost taking my own life to living a life of my dreams.
Such a powerful story, and I want to get all the way into it. But Robb, let's start with, how did you get yourself into the debt situation? Like, tell us where you were at that point in your life.
I'm on my third career, and first career was DJ, music producer, record label owner. And what was great about that was traveling, meeting people, getting to play in different places. I performed at Ultra Music Festival in Miami, Burning Man, played in Europe. It was wonderful, but the late nights, the drinking, and the lifestyle nearly killed me. And part of that unhealthy lifestyle led to me having like up and down months. Like there was months where I made tons of money, and there was months where I didn't make so much money. So this feast and famine cycle. And it led to a divorce, like me living that lifestyle and being in that world and being unhealthy. And post-divorce, coming out of that business, I accumulated a bunch of debt.
Yeah, I resonate with that, as do probably most entrepreneurs listening to this. Whether you're an exotic DJ playing Burning Man or not, a lot of us have feast or famine cycles in the business, and it's hard on a marriage, right? So relatable.
Yes.
Okay, so what was the catalyst? What changed for you? Because you said you went from taking your own life. So like bring us there for a second. Like where was your rock bottom in this situation? And then how'd you get out of it?
So it's right in that moment, because music and DJing and running record labels, like that's all I knew. That was my identity. That's where I met my ex-wife. That's where I met all my friends. That's where I got my sense of purpose and identity. I was walking away from that career, going through a divorce, in a whole lot of pain, hating who I was. And in my darkest moment, I came within 30 seconds of taking my own life, like felt around my neck, so close.
Oh, wow.
And it's funny now because I can say that and no emotion comes up because I've done a lot of work around it. But what happened in that moment, I got a split second thought that realized that all I was going to do is take this unbearable pain that I didn't know what to do with, and I was going to hand it to my children.
Yeah.
And they definitely wouldn't know what the heck to do with it.
Right.
So that was the aha that snapped me out of it. And it began this whole journey of me changing who I spent time with, me changing the clothes that I wear, me starting to work in different places, me starting to do yoga, meditate. Like it just, and the list goes on of all the crazy things I've done since then, but just being willing to say, okay, if I'm definitely choosing to be here, what am I going to start doing differently?
Yeah.
And reorchestrating my entire life around that new way of being and thinking.
So how old were your kids at that time?
4 and 6.
Yeah. Yeah. So you just have the kids' faces kind of flash in your mind and go, I can't do it to them.
Not to them.
I there's so many times, like, and since we're being vulnerable, I'll be vulnerable too. There are so many times that I got close and was, and like, I'm here because of the kids, because it was the same thing. The faces flash in my mind. I'm gonna cry. You're gonna have me crying on my own podcast. The faces flash in your mind and you go, yeah, I could never do that. I could never do that to them. Or I think about my mom, like I could never do that to my mom, and that keeps you going sometimes, just that. And then you go, wait a second, I can't do this to myself. Right? If I'm at this point, something's broken in my life. I've tried, and we get there, right? Like we're, your parents, you're married, like you have, kids, you're married, you have a job, whatever. And it gets to this point where you're trying to make everybody else happy. You're trying to keep everything going for everybody else and provide whatever you're supposed to be providing and all the expectations that are on you. And we lose ourselves. And you forget to just stop and ask, wait, is this working out for me? Am I happy?
Totally lose ourselves in those moments. And grateful that you, and when you've been in your darkest moments like me, were able to borrow some willingness to stick around, to continue to opt in from others. And it's like when you're working with mentors or coaches or working with people who are helping you, there's a saying that I like, which is like, if you're struggling to build your own belief, to borrow belief from someone else to get started, then you have to start kind of creating your own belief from within. Like you can't be relying on external factors. And I'm grateful that for me, and in your instance too, that in that darkest moments, the flip, that we're able to like, wait a minute, if I not doing it for me, who else do I need to stay here for?
Yeah.
Oh, I can see their faces and I'm going to stay here for my mom and my children or whatever, to just get out of the deepest part of the hole. But then, yeah, we have to start thinking about like, well, who am I and what's my role in this and who do I want to be and what does living for me look like?
Okay, so then did you go on a whole ass healing journey after that?
I'm still on it.
That's the right answer.
Still so much on it. Oh God. This is so funny because we get to these moments and we're like, yeah, things are great. Like I've got it sorted. And it's like, whoosh.
Yeah.
But definitely, yes. And I joke sometimes, talk about like, yes, it was journaling. Yes, it was therapy. Yes, it was psychedelics. Yes, it was coaching. Yes, it was everything. Like it's so funny. I started looking at like who are the people I want to spend time with and who are the people living life differently.
Yeah.
And I realized that the people who were living the life that I wanted to live, like they were riding their bikes. Like I live in a city of 6 million people. I was like, ride your bike. I bought a bike. Like I just like, then it was such a funny thing for me. Is like, I'm someone who has a bike now, that bike's in the city. And it was such a weird thing. And as you go on this whole ass healing journey, and it's this, the identity piece, it's like, who am I? Who do I believe I am? Who do I want to be? Stuff that we inherited from parents, friends, old coworkers, past partners. And rewriting that. And I'm still very much in it in a good way though. Like I love my life. I'm in the healthiest relationship ever, live in a dream house. The business is doing extremely well. The kids are happy and healthy, and I have an incredible relationship with them. And my days are filled working with people that inspire me. I have a fair amount of creative time in my weeks and my months. So, but forever ongoing for sure.
I love that. And the kids are how old now?
20 and 17.
Love it. Yeah, I got one that's about to be 20 as well. It's crazy watching them get so old. I love what you said about I started to look around and see the people that I wanted to be like. I think the question, who am I being, is so incredibly powerful. People get so focused on what am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? What am I not doing? Instead of just like, who am I being? Who do I want to be being? Because you can shift that like this. You can shift that in an instant, and then the doing will come from the being.
Yeah, and there's lots of research around this. Like the best way to change what you do is to put yourself around others who are like already being and doing the things you want to be doing and who you want to be being. And yeah, it's like, okay, so I want to start like let's go real basics. I want to start loving myself more. I want to appreciate myself more. I want to like be grateful for okay, well, what does that look like? And there's a reason why these things that are sometimes feel kind of tropey, like gratitude and all this other stuff, like but yeah, actually, maybe I'll turn this into a bit of a rant, something I feel really strong about. There's a thing that's used often in marketing, know, like, and trust. People need to know, like, and trust you.
Mhm.
You need to get people to know, like, and trust you.
Mhm.
And it's been ass backwards because that is putting all the onus on trying to externally get people to know, like, and trust you. And the real question is, do you know, do you like, and do you trust yourself?
Yeah.
So, like, who the hell are you? What's really important to you? Push comes to shove. Are your actual priorities? Do you like who you are? Even if your hair doesn't grow like it used to, or you don't fit into your old jeans, like, do you love and accept yourself? Do you forgive yourself for your past screw ups, fuck ups, and mistakes?
Mhm.
And then, like, do you trust yourself? Like,
Mhm.
do you make and keep small promises to yourself? Do you say what you do and mean what you say? And doing those things are very much within your control. And for me, that's how I think about like, how am I being? It's like my knowing, liking, and trusting myself.
I love that. And in some of the spiritual traditions I study, it's as above, so below, as within, so without. If I want people to know, like, and trust me, I have to know, like, and trust me, right? There has to be a resonance here. Otherwise, we might be able to fake something for a little while, but it's going to fall apart, right? There's a dissonance there. Everyone can see through that. And more importantly, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be resonant. What I love about you, and I see your posts online and even just like looking into your eyes right now, right? Like you love your life now. You figured it out. Tell us about your life now. Tell us all the things you love about it.
I just want to sit and like receive that for a second because thank you. Because there's been a lot of time where that wasn't the case. And you
Yeah.
said it and I was nodding. I'm like, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's the case. I have just built a life that is built around things that I enjoy doing. and I've built a life that allows me to have creative time. So right now is a bit of a lie in January because I've got these live workshops that I'm doing, but for most of the year, there's nothing in my calendar on a Friday.
Yeah.
There's nothing in my calendar on a Monday morning. And that's time for me, that time for thinking, for creating. I read a lot. I laugh a lot with my partner. Like we laugh so much that our teenage son is sometimes annoyed, like tells us to keep it down at bedtime because he's trying to fall asleep when we're upstairs laughing too much for him. It's all in the little moments that way. And then the people that I work with, they really inspire me. Like one of the slogans in my community is do bold shit. I have an annual event called Do Bold Shit. And last year we had people flying from 5 different countries to spend 3 days for us for this whole thing. And the people that I get to work with, that I say I serve, are all doing bullshit. They're all doing things that are impactful and meaningful. So yeah, and I think what's taking me a while to figure out that I'm doing more of now too is just like being honest as far as like what do I like doing, what do I not like doing, and then the stuff that I don't like doesn't light me up. I could force myself to do it enough that I could be decently proficient at it, but every time would feel like I'm cutting myself with a dull, rusty object, or I can delegate and automate. So I'm learning to trust myself more and to delegate and automate more. And yeah, a bit ranty, but that's what's going on in my life right now.
I love it. Well, when I saw your brand was Do Bold Shit, that was when I was like, okay, this guy's a kindred spirit, because my brand is Delusional, and it's, very similar in terms of like, hey, if you want to get anywhere, it's not always just an incremental progress, right? It's like what we do every day, the consistency, the habits that we build, that is to get us ready for the inflection point moment, right? So that you can meet the moment when it occurs, because there are these moments in our lives where you go to the right thing, you meet the right person, or you walk into a room, you meet someone that ends up being your partner down the line or whatever, right? It's not always about business success, but there are these inflection point moments in life where your entire life can change. It can push you onto a whole different trajectory. And that's when you can 10x or 100x your experience, your life experience. The consistent habits get us ready for those moments, so we're ready to meet that moment. But we don't get the big payoff without the inflection point. And we don't get the inflection point without the putting ourselves out there, being bold, trying stuff, taking big risks, right? Doing bold shit, being delusional.
Oh, I love it. Hold on, I gotta grab something behind me because talking about the being delusional and being willing to do the little steps that set you up for the moment. And you're asking about my life right now, and it made me realize that I made this list and I feel so strongly about it that I've laminated it.
Oh
And I
my
have
gosh.
this.
Okay. All right. Read us something on the list. What's your favorite one on the list? If you're listening on the podcast, he has held up a laminated list that he has made with a Do Bold Shit header.
Yes, and it's a picture of a bunch of people at the event, and these are life guiding principles that I have here. I can ignore my phone with no stress, urgency, or negative impact to my business. The amount of money I make is not connected to how many hours I work. I get paid to live, share what I'm learning, and express myself creatively. Anyway, there's 11 of these.
I love that. I have been using "I get paid to exist" as one of my mantras lately. Kind of tongue in cheek, but I don't know if you know, but I'm a TikTok star now. I would listen, Rob. I was slow over the summer. Like my business was so slow over the summer, which is normal. Right? It normally slows down in the summer, but this year was like extra. And I was just like, I'm gonna go crazy. Like I can't sit around with my thumb up my ass. I got to do something. And so I was like, I'm gonna learn TikTok because I am 44. This scares the shit out of me. I need to like drag myself into 2026. I'm going to learn it. And I got so into it. And I was like, I had, I think 300 followers, pity followers on TikTok at the time, right? 346, something like that, right? And I was like, I'm going to have 10,000 by the end of the year. I'm just going to learn this. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to make myself do this. I have had so much fun. And I did, by the way, get to 10,000. I got to 10,400 by the end of the year. And I was just like, I wanted to show myself that once again, I know how to set a goal. I know how to achieve it. I'm going to do this out loud so everybody can watch me, so that like people sitting around feeling disempowered. If I can learn TikTok in 4 months and get to 10,000 followers as a 44-year-old middle-aged lady, you can do whatever you're trying to do. But one of the things on TikTok is I get paid to exist. And there's like even an I get paid to exist song. And I love it. I told my partner Brad about it. Now we say it to each other all the time. And it's like, what a great mantra. Just like, can you live out loud and be an example to people? Like, what do you actually get paid to do, Rob? Like, why are people flying around the world to do bullshit events to you for why? Why?
I'm going to answer it straight on, but I feel I need to tell a bit more of a story to get us there so it makes sense context wise. So I shared a bit early as far as what my first career was, DJ music producer. When I went through that shift, I ended up in office jobs because life costs money. I had young kids, and I ended up in HR and people and culture roles.
Wait, you
And
went from being a DJ at Burning Man to working in HR?
sure
Like
did.
corporate, wow, what a violent jump.
So violent. And the when done well in companies that actually care about their employees, it is the intersection of business and people. And
Mhm.
I've been obsessed my entire life as far as understanding what makes people tick and what makes businesses successful regardless of market conditions. So then I did that for a while and worked my way up to being head of people and culture, director of people and culture role, coaching CEOs, leadership teams. And that part of my role did not feel like work. I enjoyed that part, like coaching the CEO, giving feedback to leadership teams, creating training, all this stuff. And I thought, like, how do I do more of this? But I had this, like, I'm in my 40s, mortgage, two kids, golden handcuffs of the six-figure salary. And I didn't think I could get out of it. I thought, like, this is it. That's a nice pipe dream. I can think about it, but it's actually not going to happen. But I started documenting my life a bit on Instagram. I started sharing what I was doing. I was sharing what I was doing with habits. I was like, this is what's going on. This is how I'm feeling. And people started asking me, hey, dude, whatever the hell you're doing,
Mhm.
can you help me with that? So I signed my first coaching clients and I was calling myself a habit strategist because I didn't have the guts to call myself a coach. So I
Mm.
did that. That was fun. And that gave me enough confidence to think that I could quit the job. So I quit the job, went all in on the coaching. I quit my job to do this coaching thing. Post went kind of viral on LinkedIn, even though I had 1,900 connections. I got 20,000 views. I signed
Wow.
a dozen clients in 2 weeks. I signed my first overseas client. It was just like insane. And I did that and was loving it. And then other coaches and consultants kept coming to me and saying, dude, how'd you do this?
Mhm.
I saw you go from full-time employee to full roster clients. You seem to do some voodoo on LinkedIn. Can I pick your brain? So I started just doing these calls with people where I'd give them feedback on their profile, their messaging, talk about their offer. And 1 week, 3 people booked those. Can you help me? Calls, and 2 of the conversations ended with, how do I have another one of these calls? So I
Mm.
made the switch to what I'm doing now. And the way I tend to explain it is, coaches that are doing the work from the heart, that care so much about what they do, often aren't also good at getting their message out and enrolling clients.
Yeah.
And they definitely don't want to do anything that feels icky or
Right.
salesy or pushy. So I help them create hell yes offers and put out messaging that attracts people that they're excited to serve, so that they are feeling excited when they're telling their friends and family, not just about the impact of their work, but also the revenue.
Beautiful, beautiful. And now you have a huge following, right? Is that right? Am I making this up?
I don't know about huge, but 26,000 humans on LinkedIn are in my LinkedIn community. So
Nice, nice.
yeah,
Yeah, way
it's
more than my 10K on TikTok, but Imma catch you. Imma catch you,
it's
don't
not a
worry.
race.
Don't worry.
It's not.
No, I'm impressed that you did anything at all on LinkedIn. I've been trying to get into LinkedIn. Like just this like past week or two, I was like, okay, when the new year starts, I'm gonna, I did what I wanted to do on TikTok. I'm gonna start it up on LinkedIn. Talk about a violent jump from TikTok to LinkedIn. I'm having trouble spending any time on LinkedIn. I'm just like that. I feel worse about. I just spent 10 minutes on here. I feel worse about myself. This makes me feel like when I was a teenage girl and I would get like a Cosmopolitan magazine and I would just like flip through and be like, I'm a fat, ugly toad after like 10 minutes of, looking at the glossy fan. I was like, no, this feels like I got to figure out how to be on here and feel amazing about myself because I am not willing to feel anything less than that. So maybe we'll get some LinkedIn tips from Rob and selfishly, I would like them as well. How to even do that. Okay, so you're coaching and you're teaching marketing to coaches, consultants, etc., and of course mindset and everything else. And you're getting to go to cool places in the world. Everyone's flying around to work with you. Do you love your job?
Without question. It doesn't feel like work. Like I have pinch me moments. I don't know, like 1 or 2 days a week, I'm getting out of bed. I'm like, how is this possible? My partner, Melissa, and I had this conversation last week. We realized like one of the richest things about our life that it'd be easy to take for granted is never waking up to an alarm clock.
Yeah.
Um, and there's like, I'm friends, like I built deep friendships with these people. On Friday night, there's two, well, one's a past client. Well, he's still coming to my mastermind. I guess there's still 2 clients essentially, but they're so funny because we've been working with them for a while and I've seen them graduate and build successful things that I don't see them as clients first. I see them as friends
Yeah.
first. But the 3 of us are hanging out. We're going to go for dinner. We're going to go to a spa and just like hang out. And these are people that I enjoy spending time with. It's just not transactional. It's very much relationship based, and it's fun. Like it feels the work I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
It's funny because look, the do bullshit thing is interesting because that is like when I describe what I do, it's very much like it sounds more like this is what I do and here's my elevator pitch. The do bullshit thing is the broader bit, which I think aligns well to your delusional approach. And I was just thinking a while ago, okay, there's all of these frameworks. Everyone has the thing. Everyone says like, this is the way to do it. You want to grow on TikTok? This I got to do it. You want to hit this much per month? This is the path. And I was like, it's all nonsense. Everyone's peddling shit. Like, what is true below all the noise? And I landed on do bullshit that scares you. Learn as you go. Share what you're learning to help others. Repeat.
Yeah.
And if you follow that cycle, really incredible things happen. Your luck surface area grows, like opportunities happen. You get to enjoy the journey way more. And that was the genesis for me throwing the events. And at the event, there's some business messaging kind of stuff, but it's way bigger than that, about helping people crack open what they believe is actually possible for them and help them rewrite their beliefs and actually do big, bold shit. Like watching what people do after the events is wild.
Yeah, I love it too. And I'm in the same line of work you are as a coach. Love it. Would absolutely do it without getting paid. That doesn't mean that you guys shouldn't pay me. You should. Still have a kid in college, and I would do it for free. Like I love my job. I love my clients. I tell them I love them. It's weird. We say I love you. Like it's probably a little too weird. But there's an emotional intimacy that develops when you're working that closely with somebody and watching them transform their life, watching them begin to live their dreams. I don't know if you know this about me, Rob, but I started out just as a straight up, not even a business coach, I would say like a management consultant, right? Like I went through all the way through business school, got an MBA, came back to Washington, D.C., where I had been before, and started helping political consultants who are not business people natively do business stuff, right? Okay, we got to put the spreadsheets in place. We got to do your forecasting models. All right, we got to like tighten up your brand. We got to figure out, and like marketing's part of it, but also like, okay, we got to figure out your cash flow. It's just like all the operational financial parts of a business. It was probably within the year of doing that I was just like, this doesn't work without a mindset component. And I say we could make the best spreadsheet in the world. I could tell you exactly what to do. And it's not worth anything if you are too scared to do what the spreadsheet says to do. And so I was like, fuck, I got to learn how to be a mindset coach. I spent years going down the rabbit hole of learning neurolinguistic programming, learning the spiral, learning energy healing work, like just modality after modality. I'm a nerd, as you can tell. Like, I like to learn. I like to stack certifications and degrees, and just exploring, how can I help somebody? How can I help empower somebody who says that they want X result, but is not doing anything to get X result and is stuck here? And what a miserable place to live, right? Now, if you're stuck here and you're happy being here, great. I don't have a problem. You don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. We're all good. But if you're saying, I want this, if you're listening on the podcast, sorry, I'm like raising my hand up above my head. Not everybody watches this on YouTube. If you're saying, I want to go up here, but you are committed to staying down here with your mindset, with your limiting beliefs, with your patterns, with your habits, right? You're going to live a miserable life. And so I'm going, how can I help people bridge the gap? Right. That's what I do. That's what I've been doing. It's so fun. And I would say 90% of the work I do right now is mindset. We're still helping people get the same outcome. I still help people grow $1 million businesses within a couple of years from scratch, but it's mindset, and it's doing bold shit, and it's being delusional, and it's believing you can, and it's showing up every day, and it's, failing and learning and getting back up and doing it again. Those are the people that do it. Right. And I love the bold visionary people that are going, you know what? I'm locked in on a goal. I don't give a fuck what my mama thinks, my daddy thinks, my wife thinks, my husband thinks, you should check with your spouse, but, but really, like, I'm going to do it. I need you to believe in me. I need you to watch me. I need you to come along with me. Like, those are my people.
It's fun to watch you light up talking about it. And it's very clear that this is work that you feel really strongly about, and it's coming from such a deep, meaningful place. And that is the toughest part of it, because if it was just the knowledge, then anyone with a YouTube account, anyone who has access to ChatGPT or books, like, it would solve all the problems. But that's not the case, because there is this, people like us do things like this. This is people from my small town only achieve, this is the model of the world I know. I've always been this way. This is the pressure put on me from mom, partner, cousin, whoever. And it's really hard. Like, it stops us from doing the things that we know we want to do to achieve it. So it's really cool to hear you talk through your work like that.
Yeah, I mean, I love it, and you can see that I love it, hear that I love it. It's what I'll do for the rest of my life, is empowering people. I say sometimes connecting people to their power, right? In every other way, working mentally, physically, spiritually, energetically, whatever we got to do to get you online. If you want to come, again, I'm not worried about you if you don't want to come along. Like, I don't fuck with you. I love you. It's fine. You're not my people, right? We're here for people that want to 10x, 100x their life experience, that want to go from, wherever they were stuck to wherever they want to be. And just to realize you can create your ideal reality. You can create your ideal life. So this is what you've done, Rob. And you wrote a book, which I haven't done yet. So I'm inspired by the fact, and I brought it. I'm holding it up if you can't see me. Die Before They Do is Rob's book. Rob, thank you for sending me this book. Tell me about this book. What inspired you to write it? What's it about?
So it's Die Before They Do: From Selling Drugs to Lunch with Jim Carrey, stories of struggle, near-death experiences, and creating a life with meaning. And I was sharing some of the stories in the book once in a while as posts on LinkedIn predominantly. And every time I did, I got not just like a lot of comments, but DMs from people saying it's really helpful, it was really impactful, people saying it was like it was helpful, healing in some way, shape, or form, and it seemed to make some kind of impact. And it was my partner that suggested, like, what if you wrote a collection of stories? What if you gathered some of the stories you've shared online and a bunch more and put them in a way that's easy for people to digest? And that was the catalyst for the book. And it was fun to hear you describe the work you do, because you use different words. But for me, it's like, how do I help someone believe that they can rewrite their story?
Yeah.
And that's really what I'm hoping to achieve and am achieving with the work that I'm doing, including with the book. So we talked earlier about some of the dark times I've been through. There's stuff through my time in music, rewriting beliefs, changing careers, going through divorce, like just all of this stuff leading up to when I launched my business, and maybe a little bit after that.
You know what's such a cool moment? And I just love witnessing when people hit this moment, is this moment in their life, and it usually comes in midlife, where they start to realize that all the random shit that they did in the past and all the failures that they had and all the things that went wrong, quote unquote wrong, have all synthesized into this very unique persona and this very unique story and exactly who they are, and that they wouldn't be who, it sounds cliche to say you wouldn't be who you are without all those hardships and all those failures, but it's true. And then you look back and go, wait a second, I am the only person who's ever been a DJ at Burning Man and then worked in HR and then tried to hang myself and then, built a 6-figure whatever coaching business. And like, I got something to fucking say. There's only one Rob, right? There's only one Michelle. That's a fun moment.
It is a really fun moment to see people have, because, you're talking about how you and I do some similar things, but we could do identical things. And there's someone who would listen to your story and be like, Michelle's my person. I need to work with Michelle. And there's someone who would hear me as like, I like his funny Canadian accent. I think maybe Rob's my guy. And there's just like, there's someone for everyone. And it really is your willingness to acknowledge and share the things that you've been through, just how helpful it is. And yeah, it's cliche, but it really does make you. And if you are willing to stick around, if you're willing to look for the lessons, and then again, if you're willing to show up and share.
I share, you'll be proud of me, Rob. I shared a post a few days ago, about how I got myself $2 million in debt. And that was very scary to hit post on. Now, I'm not a shy person. I'm not somebody who has shied away from being on social media, like since the invention of social media. But that one freaked me out. My heart was pounding a little bit, and I was like, just post it. It's probably going to be good if you're scared. Do bullshit, right? And I did, and I got a huge, huge response to that post. And it just reminded me again, right? The more vulnerable we can be, the more we're doing scary shit, the more people appreciate that about us.
It normalizes, you are normalizing a part of the journey that a lot of people don't talk about.
Yeah.
Because it's unfortunate nature of social media, of a lot of things online. It's just showing highlight reels.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a reason why you felt the hesitation, but there's also a reason why you're getting such awesome feedback on that.
Well, and I think that surge is changing. That surge is coming of real authenticity on social media, because there was the sort of Instagram era, and I'm not big on Instagram at all, but sometime this year I will focus on Instagram and try to grow that one. I think I have just shy of 1,000 followers. Please follow me on Instagram so I can get over 1,000. It's embarrassing, you guys. but the reason I don't spend a lot of time on Instagram is because historically it's been so curated, so polished. For women, it felt like you had to be kind of like the Instagram model with the lashes and the blowout and in a bikini and the perfect lighting and like like if you're not that and for people my age that's getting harder and harder to meet up to that standard of some of these 21-year-old Instagram models. It's like if you're not that, you might as well not even be here, you might as well not even play. And so it was highlight reel to the extreme. But of course, we were seeing that everywhere on social media. That one of the reasons that I struggle with enjoying LinkedIn right now is because of that. Is because it's just like, look at how smart I am and all my professional accomplishments, and I'm just like, I don't want to hear that. I don't care. Like, I mean, I care. I'm proud of you and stuff. But like, what I care about is like, where did you come from? What did you get out of? Why did you quit your job to go all in on coaching? Like, that's interesting. I see why that got 20,000 views. That's interesting. And so I'm thinking, look, I could bitch about this, or I could be a leader and I could show up a little bit differently. Right. And so I thought, well, the conventional wisdom on social media is you need to optimize your content for that platform. If it's on LinkedIn, then, you write it in this template. You need to post it between 9 and 10 a.m. You need to spend an hour engaging, whatever. Like, I know the rules. I'm just not doing them, Rob. But I was thinking, yeah, but what if I didn't? Like, what if I posted something raw on LinkedIn? What would happen? And what if
It
I
would,
take that same thing and I post it on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Substack, which is what I'm doing right now. It's just to be fully transparent. I'm writing something long form every morning, posting it on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Substack. This is now a 2-week long experiment, so I don't have enough data to report back. But it's fascinating to me to see sometimes how it can cut through the noise of a platform where everything is very polished to just get on there and be fucking raw and be fucking real.
well, it's just the classic, if everyone is zigging, you want to be zagging.
Yeah.
And that's been a big part of my success there. I swear in posts, I show up
Yeah.
funky, and a lot of unpolished stuff. I share real, wrong, vulnerable, true experiences. And in the world where there's plenty of people that pretend they don't fart and who are wearing suits in their pictures, it really does stand out.
It's funny when you talk about swear because I swear I'm an East Coast gal. I was raised in Oklahoma, but I've been on the East Coast since I was 21 of the United States. And my mother, who's still in Oklahoma, hates that I use the F word. And I actually did, Mom, if you're listening, I deleted fuck out of one of my posts today because I was like, I know my mom hates. She will literally say, she's like, I listen to your podcast until you say the F word, and then I have to turn it off. But yeah, it's like, okay, so Mom, I'm sorry. And, please forgive me, Mom. And, you're not my target audience, right? Like, I'm not like, I love you. I'm glad you're listening to the show. And, my mom's been very successful. She's done what she wanted to do in her life. Like, she's not the audience for this. My audience likes that I say fuck.
Yeah. Well, there's research that shows that it's more likely that you're smarter, that you're being genuine. And if you're not just swearing for the sake of trying to upset people or offend people, if just that just comes out naturally because you care and you're passionate, I don't know, it connects. And that's the way that I've been showing up on LinkedIn, and it's served me really well. And if you start showing up more that way, you'll find that there's a whole underbelly to LinkedIn full of the kind of people where you're like, oh, these are my people.
Yeah, I'm trying to find him. I've actually had a couple of responses to I had a post where I was like, I fucked up my whole life and here's what I learned. And I got people DMing me that like I didn't know that were like, I would like to know you. I got on a call with a woman last week. We happen to have the same alma mater from Dartmouth, where I went to grad school. She went to undergrad there. And she was just like, hey, you seem cool as shit. And it was like, I never get LinkedIn messages like that. By the way, all my LinkedIn messages are like, are you a coach? I can help you get 500 clients a day. Like, it's just spam, 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 or come to my webinar or my workshop. I get some of those. I almost never get somebody reaching out to just on LinkedIn specifically to just be like, you seem cool, let's talk. And so I was almost suspicious, Rob. I was like, okay, I'll bite, And then I got on the phone and it was legit. She like really just wanted to connect with me. She was super fucking cool. I was like, thank you so much for reaching out. Like, I have a new friend now. And it was all because I posted something a little bit vulnerable, a little bit raw with a swear word in it that, didn't fit the mold of normal LinkedIn and got some attention. So I want to find the underbelly, Rob. You're encouraging me.
It's there. Look, and you talking about sharing vulnerably. We're talking about showing up and being more raw. And I just want to call out that anyone listening, just you can decide where the line is. You
Yeah.
don't have to talk about your childhood trauma. You don't have to talk about almost taking your life. You don't have to there's some things that you can keep safe. However, Can you share some of the things that you naturally talk about with clients? Some of the stuff that you share when you're talking with someone on one-on-one, where their eyes light up, where they're interested, that things that people ask you about. Can you share some of that so that someone doesn't need to have 2 Zoom calls with you to understand that you love dogs, hate cats, used to ski as a kid, but haven't in 10 years? Like, just show us a bit of who you are as a human outside of the work that you do,
Yeah.
because the being the expert at the thing is not what's going to make someone feel connected to you and want to learn more about you, and to lean into your world, especially when, if you look up whatever the heck it is that you do, my guess is there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that do the same shit as you.
Yeah.
So your willingness to show that will help you a whole heck of a lot.
But nobody does it exactly like I do it, Rob. No, it's so true. And when we're saying be vulnerable, yeah, it doesn't mean you have to share everything about your life. I was very deliberate about this at a certain point. I said, okay, here are the things that I'm willing to talk about, which is basically everything about me or my experience or my perspective. And here are the things that I'm not willing to talk about. So if it's something that is, it was more about somebody else than me, like somebody very close to me had a health issue or a mental health issue or something like that, that's their business. That's not my story to tell. Even if it affected me, even if it was traumatic for me, it's not my story to tell. I don't speak in super detail about my kids. Again, it's their I can say, this is how old they are, and here, they're in college and middle school and whatever, and like I post pictures of them sometimes, but I don't go in super detail about them. And at this point, they approve if you see a picture of my kids online, it's because they approved it and they said it was okay for me to post. Because they have their own life, they have their own social media presence, they have their own thing they're trying to do, and they have their own stories to tell. And those aren't my stories to tell just because I'm becoming more of a public figure. I don't talk a whole lot about my marriages, not in depth, right? 2 divorces, right? I don't go into that out of respect for the fathers of my kids. I have 2 kids from 2 different marriages, and I don't go into a lot of that because I don't want the drama of saying, oh, here's what exactly happened in my marriage and how I feel about it, right? It's just out of respect, right? So I have some lines. And it's interesting because when you do show up and share vulnerably, people think that they know everything about you or everything about your life. It's like, no, that's not the case. You're still only seeing what I'm sharing. What I'm sharing is very real. It's very raw. It's very vulnerable, but it's me and it's my stuff. I'm not sharing a 360 picture of everything else, and everybody else in my life.
Oh, I love hearing that. Yeah, very clear. The lines between what is yours and what is someone else's story, and your children have their own life. And yeah, like, what good would it do if you brought up things from past relationships? So then what, you're just creating more drama? Like, it's not needed. But it's I love the thing, the last way you just said is like, what you're sharing is really genuinely you, but it doesn't mean that is the full like 360 view of you. But yeah, if what you're showing is genuinely you, then when you show up on a call, like, that's you, you're the person, like, it's the same person. Don't have to worry about this, like, being misaligned or putting on a fake show. Because I think you talk about the Instagram thing, and that exists on all platforms. If you are just putting out such a highly curated, overthought, overthinking, like, throttling who you are all the time, then you have to keep that facade up forever. Someone wants to work with you, then you have to keep, like, maintain the show, and that sounds exhausting.
No,
I
it's
don't like
like
that.
it's like the old adage in love, like whatever you did to get them is what you got to do to keep them. Like, so you might as well be yourself. You're not, and this is the same thing is true about getting a job or anything else, right? If you show up fake, you're gonna have to keep that up. I can't. That's exhausting. I'm not doing it. Um, Rob, I had a very exciting, speaking of social media presence, I had a very exciting milestone moment happen to me last week. I got recognized in public at the coffee shop. This has never happened to me before. And I probably didn't handle it that well because I was like very shocked and taken aback. I was having coffee with my friend Keith at our neighborhood coffee shop, which is really crowded all the time. And a woman came by and was like, "Oh, Michelle." And I was like, like, I don't know who you are, but hello. And she was like, "Oh, I recognize you from all your social media." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then I felt like I was supposed to know who she was. Like maybe I'm sorry if you're listening and you're a Facebook friend or something, please forgive me. I was in the middle of a conversation. My brain got like pattern interrupted. I had no idea who she was. And I was kind of like, "Oh, thanks for being a fan." Like, I don't even know what I said. It was very awkward, but my friend was very impressed. He was like, "Oh, you got recognized." I was like, "I think I just got recognized from the internet. That's crazy." So
It's wild. I've had it a couple times, someone walk up to me and say, "I know you from LinkedIn." And the first time, it's like the weirdest thing. Like, we were joking earlier, but the different platforms are all, you have to show up differently. And if we're going to put the hierarchy of cool, LinkedIn is not cool. So to have someone walk up like, "Oh, I know you from LinkedIn," I was like, "Thank
you're like, "Don't
you."
say that out loud in public."
Oh,
It's a whole different kind of level. And prior to even embarking on this journey of like, okay, I'm going to very deliberately grow my social media following, which really only started caring about like in the middle of last year. The best time to do that, by the way, would have been 10 years ago, but the second best time is now. So I'm doing it now. I had to do a lot of my own mindset work around visibility and being okay with it. I think this is a normal one. This comes up with lots of my clients. I'm sure with lots of your clients too, is visibility equals vulnerability. And especially when we're parents with kids and we start thinking about, oh, people are going to be able to figure out where I live or where my kids go to school, or where, like, somebody asked me today in a public post, like what temple I go to. And I was like, I'll DM you. I'm sure if you really wanted to figure it out, you could. I'm not like trying to obscure all that stuff very super hard, but like I'm not gonna just put it all the way out there. It gets a little bit scary. And so I needed to go and do my own mindset work around like, I'm okay, I can keep myself safe, I can keep my kids safe, I know how to protect myself. And like also the kind of depressing but also very liberating thought that, look, if somebody really wants to fucking get you, they're gonna get you. So, like, you could live your whole life paranoid about that, or you could just do your thing. What do you tell your clients when that mindset block comes up of I'm scared to be visible?
I normally do my favorite thing to do with anything that's fear related is the Tim Ferriss fear setting exercise. And he's got a blog about it, but I just take the questions from there and do it as kind of a coaching framework, which is what is the absolute worst case scenario? Let's paint it out. Like, let's get really, really clear on what the hell it is. Cool. What's the likelihood that that's going to happen? 1 to 10. Can't choose 7 because 7's a bullshit answer. Get it? Like, really clear. Okay, cool. All right, well, then it's a 6 out of 10. It's a 5 out of 10. Okay, let's say that you start doing this and this actually happens, or you get an indication that it's starting to happen. What are things that you can do to start righting the ship or turn things around or make yourself feel safe again? And then the last question is like, well, what is the upside of you still taking this step even though you're afraid and you've got this fear? And what it does is you shine a big light on the fear. It makes it way less scary and way less overwhelming. It's like, well, yeah, then I am willing to take a step forward, because the fear festers in the dark. I think about
Yeah.
being a kid and being afraid of the monster under my bed, and I didn't want to get out of my bed, and my mom just like let's put a flashlight, look under your bed, like let's see. There's actually nothing, you put a light on it, and I think it works with fear really well. You just put a big bright light on it.
I love that so much. Um, and I love that 7 is a bullshit answer. I'm going to steal that. And I love Tim Ferriss, by the way. 4 Hour Work Week changed my life, like 20 years ago. I had this huge aha moment, this big realization earlier this year. And it was like, what am I really afraid of? What am I really afraid of? What am I really afraid of? Why am I afraid of that? Like, what's the problem with that? Like, starting to ask those kind of NLP questions about, like, why is that a problem? And what it came down to was, well, I'm going to be really, really uncomfortable. Like, anything that I could think of, it was like being burned at the stake, really uncomfortable. Something happening to one of my kids, really uncomfortable. Like, it all came down to either there's like a physical discomfort, there's a psychological discomfort, but it's also very uncomfortable to just stick where you are and not be going toward what you want to be going toward, right? So it was like, okay, I took a mushroom and the mushroom told me that the human experience is uncomfortable. It's part of it. You're going to be fucking uncomfortable. I'm going to be fucking uncomfortable. So it's like, what, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to be afraid to experience something that I am going to experience one way or the other.
Yes.
That's insane. And just as soon as that thought popped, it just broke the whole thing for me. I was like, I can't be afraid to be uncomfortable. I'm going to be uncomfortable. So I might as well just fucking go headfirst into it.
I love this. I'm going to be uncomfortable, so I might as well go into it, because the path to avoiding all discomfort is we all end up like the people in Wall-E. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen that.
Oh yeah. I fucking reference that all the time. I felt like I turned into one of those Wall-E people during COVID, by the way, where I was just like on my couch, getting high, binge eating, whoever would bring me food from Uber Eats, watching Netflix. And I was just like, I think I gained so much weight. I've lost it again. That's what I was focused on doing all last year. I lost 55 pounds. But I put it on turning into a Wall-E character during COVID. And eventually was like, I can't be Wall-E. I gotta like, Rob, it got so bad. I was like having all my groceries delivered. I don't know what you guys have in Canada, but here we have Instacart, and they'll go buy your groceries and they'll deliver it. And I was like, I was justifying. I was like, well, I work on the internet, I work online. Like, I don't have time to go to the grocery store. Someone can bring me my groceries. And I was just getting bigger and bigger and more Wall-E character like. And eventually, that's where it started. I was like, I have to go to the grocery store. I have to go to the grocery store. I have to walk through the aisles. I have to see other people put things in my cart and come home. It takes 30 minutes. Like, I've got to do that. And then it just kind of, I was able to get myself back out of the house kind of from there. But it's easy to turn into Wally. Like, I feel like that's what the bad guys want right now. I don't know. What do you think?
I think the whole system is made to make us like, whether it's Wally or be like the Matrix, where we're just numb and we're essentially just a cell in the system that's being used. Like, we're just a resource that's being sucked and siphoned dry. The tools are all very addictive, and the like, you and I are similar ages. I'm a few years older, but like, I had to leave the house. Like,
Yeah.
mom's like, go out of the house. I don't want to see you till dinner. Like, just, you had to go be outside,
Yeah.
and that meant that all of the challenges, all the adventures, all of the challenges worth doing were all dealing with actual humans. But it's all online now, and I'm grateful for it. Like, I've worked with people in 17 different countries. I love the internet. You and I are hanging out here now thanks to an online tool. And it's important to know that life exists outside of your house, outside of the internet, and have a healthy relationship where you're separating the two.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to get out there. You got to live your real life. And my mantra this year has been, I need to create as much as I consume. And I'll ask myself, am I consuming or am I creating right now? Like, it's okay to consume. Obviously, you need new ideas. You need the catalyst to get yourself thinking, and you need to like inspiration and things like that. But if all you're doing is consuming, life's out of balance. So, okay, am I creating as much as I'm consuming? And that has increased my output quite a bit, just asking myself that question.
What a power question.
You can steal it.
I'm I thought of it before, but I've never thought about like just having it for me. That now that might turn into a journal question, because I've thought about it. Definitely, that's the difference between, like, am I putting things out to help the world? Am I contributing? Like, being a member of community, what's your role? Your role is to make that community better.
Mhm.
And this is something that I got from Jonathan Goodman a couple of weeks ago. We spoke, and I was like, oh, that's a really good way to think about community. And if you're just sitting there absorbing and essentially taking, not only is it bad for you and you're on your way to becoming a Wally character, you're not being a good contributing member of society or of community. So yeah, I think I'm going to start maybe using that as a journal prompt.
Fabulous. I love it. Please do. And if you're listening, use it as your own journal prompt. Let us know. Leave us comments. We love comments. We love DMs. You're talking to actual me if you do that, by the way. I'm not a big enough deal that you have a team that you're talking to. So I don't know about you, Rob. Is it you if they DM you?
It's them if it's me if they DM me. If it's an email, it might get sorted by my coordinator first. So I go into the Rob responds folder, and she like triages all the crap. But it's always me who actually responds.
Don't say anything overly personal to Rob in his email. The coordinator is going to see it first. Rob, thank you so much for being on the show. Where can people find you on the internet if they want to follow you on LinkedIn or anywhere else?
So LinkedIn is my main online hang. If you're listening audio only, Rob with two B's, Gilbear. I moonlight a little bit on Instagram. I have some stuff on YouTube. YouTube is funny. My first YouTube video has over 100,000 views. It's been all downhill since.
No, we're going to sprinkle some of that magic on this episode. We're going to get 100,000 views right here.
And then growthhabit.org. Growthhabit.org. Those are the places to find me on the interwebs.
Beautiful. And if you want to find me, I'm everywhere at Michelle to Scale. Please do find me and talk to me. It's actual me. And I would love to hear from you. Robb Gilbear, thank you so much for being on. It has been a pleasure. I cannot wait to read this book, especially the story about having lunch with Jim Carrey. And I just really appreciate you being on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle. It's been awesome.
Everybody else, we'll see you next time.